What if the idea of black and brown unity is just another lie we tell ourselves to feel safer in a system that was never built for us? Survival ain't the reason they don't side with us. It's preference. Think about it. In prisons, they don't roll with us. On the job sites, they don't hire us. In their homes, they don't want us dating their daughters. And in the courtroom, they often vote for policies against us. But my people want to cling to the few who march like it erases the ones who mock. And before you say that's not all of them, ask one of your Mexican partners what mejora la raza means. It means to improve the race. But improve it how? By whitening it. By erasing blackness. Go on and sit with that for a minute. They dance to our music, they talk like us, they move into our neighborhoods, and we let them. Then they gatekeep jobs, culture, and even respect. And we let them. This ain't about racism, man. It's about rivalry. Because nobody imitates what they pity. They imitate what they envy. And deep down they know what we got can't be copied. So maybe it ain't hate. Maybe it's hidden competition. Maybe it ain't ignorance. Maybe it's inherited bias. Or maybe blacks was never meant to look for allies. Just remember who we are. I love my people. I hope y'all safe out there, and I hope you get home safe.
I really wanted to set the precipice and the premise for this next segment because I don't want to offend anyone. That's your trigger warning. There's going to be some language that you may not agree with.
This is why, folks, I don't like motherfucking black people. I fucking hate black people, bro. You know why? Just now, a fucking nigger ran the fucking stoplight and looked at me like it was my motherfucking fault. Fuck all you Black Lives Matter fucking people. I don't give a fuck. Because y'all just want to make it seem like it's our fault or the white man or whatever the fuck it is. Bro, like, I don't give a fuck. Kill them all, bro. Kill them the fuck all.
This is what the world sees. They call us beast. They paint us as threats, degenerates, criminals, dumb, loud, lazy. The world looks at black Americans and see a shadow of humanity, not a real person, a fifth of a human, but not the soul that shaped the world. They don't see us as a problem, never the solution. They see us as the problem and never the solution, as victims, never as visionaries, as predators, but never as protectors. Yet we, the so-called beasts, built the bones of this empire. Tell me, what group of people was enslaved for over 300 years in a government-sanctioned horror show and then told to forget? When have they ever did that? Whenever they ever did that? Because I keep hearing that all these other groups of people have been enslaved, and look at them now. Who built the wealth of the most powerful nation on earth with bloody hands and broken backs just to be denied a seat at the table? Foundational Black Americans. We did. And when they opened the gates to immigrants, many fleeing hardship. And again, this is not targeted at one group of people. This is targeted at every group of people who are immigrants to this country who turn up their nose at Black Americans. They open up the gates to immigrants, illegal and legal, many fleeing hardship, war, and famine, and most have come to this country for economic opportunity, economic asylum, economic refugees. Those immigrants were granted access to the very same privileges our struggle made possible. Who am I referring to? Foundational Black Americans. When it comes to affirmative actions, that was built on our pain, even though we didn't benefit from affirmative action. When you're talking about DEI and those DEI initiatives, yeah, it may started off as a movement that Black people was inherently fighting for, but we didn't benefit from it. But yet, immigrants have benefited from the same policies that was meant for us. Then they have the audacity to shame our name and say we didn't work hard enough. They blend in, they mimic whiteness, and they mark our scars, telling us slavery was such a long time ago. But see, when a woman is the R word, when a woman is R word, no one tells her to get over it. No one questions how long her pain should linger, how many generations her trauma may poison, putting that trauma and not inflict pain on her children or her future partner. Who has done that? The pain must have an expiration date, but the beast must be silent. They tell us that Jim Crow was a long time ago. Mass incarceration, yeah, that's old news. Redlining, that's still old. Stolen land, that's still old. Homestead Act, that's still old. Murdering our leaders, oh, that was in the 60s. That's all ancient history. But generational trauma doesn't fade with the flipping of a calendar. It haunts our DNA. You say we are beasts, but beasts don't survive slavery. Beasts don't create jazz, hip hop, rock and roll, soul, funk, gospel, blues, and country. Beasts don't invent the home security system like Marion Van Britton Brown, the super soaker like the NASA engineer Lonnie Johnson, or the 3-light traffic signal like Gerd Morgan, or the 3 hidden figures coming up with a complicated algorithm to send our astronauts into space. Beasts don't perform the first open heart surgery like a Dr. Daniel Hill Williams, or revolutionize blood transfusion like a Dr. Charles Drew. Beasts don't launch NASA missions with math like I stated, those 3 hidden figures like Katherine Johnson's. Beasts don't move mountains. Foundational Black Americans do. And let's not forget the legislation. Civil rights, voting rights, Fair Housing Act. That is all because we were denied opportunities and access in a country that we fought, bled, and built. All because we marched, bled, sat in, and stood up. The world's most powerful country was forced to hear us. They could have easily genocide each and every one of us. But yeah, there's good white people, there's good Hispanic people, there's good Asian people, there's good all people. So that didn't occur. But don't act as if a large majority of all these different groups don't speak down to us as we are the scum of the earth. The world's most powerful country, they were forced to hear us. So the beast became the voice. Yet, while the Japanese received reparations for internment, while Native Americans received land, casinos, and recognitions, and government subsidies and government assistance till this day, we are told you wasn't enslaved. Your father wasn't enslaved, so you should get over it, as if trauma isn't inherited. So I guess certain terms are only good when certain people state it. But when people say hurt people, how do you think we have generational trauma? Why do you think the world sees our family as degenerate? Why do you see the Black family disassembled? Like mass incarceration had nothing to do with it. That hurt people don't hurt people, as if trauma can't be transcended to a new generation. As if generational wealth wasn't stolen. We talk about all these Black wealth in the different cities that we have around America before 1920, before the Red Summer of 1919. If you guys are not familiar with the Red Summer of 1919, just look it up. Just type in Red Summer 1919. And then you will understand that at every given wake, beyond slavery, before Jim Crow, We built massive amount of black Wall Streets, not one in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but we had more than 15 black Wall Streets where black people were thriving in America. Where's the laziness at now? But at every given turn, we were sabotaged. We were tricked. We were manipulated in a government that wanted to see us dead. They wanted to see us gone. They said, go back to your country, N-word. This is the only country that we know. We've had people here on record since 1526. Look up, before 1619, there was 1526. And then in doing your little research, you will find out there were black people already here prior to 1526. Some of the most indigenous people of this land. But they act as if generational wealth wasn't stolen. Burned in Tulsa, drowned in Rosewood, robbed by redlining and lynching and outright theft. As if your father worked and saved and had life insurance and bought a home and then transcended and transferred that wealth down to you. That was stolen from us. But yet they say, get a job in a country where our names alone disqualify us, where zip codes determine opportunity, where we must be twice as good to get half as much, where racism is a scaffolding that held this country together, and it still does. Yes, stop letting either side lie to the American people. Racism still exists, whether you speak it or whether you think it, whether it's implied or subconscious bias. But foundational Black Americans are still here. There's a great many of us, unfortunately, that are still suffering from so many traumas. I think there's countless to name. And I know there are some people out there, stop being a victim. And they look like you and I. They have the same lineage as you and I. Stop being a victim. Then you also have those who are sellouts. The things they speak that are anti-Black, those things that they speak that are anti-Black community, we have to understand that they are inspired and motivated by money. That's why they're sellouts. And those people who state they no longer want to be a victim because they want to feel empowered. They want to feel as they did everything on their own. It doesn't matter if you feel like a victim or not. Your whole lineage tells you who and what you are. We are some of the greatest people on earth, as if other people as well. But there's something we've been through that is not so distant past. That even though in times past and historical references, people can say all these different people have been enslaved. But look at them now. Where are they? Where are the Slavic people? The Slavic people no longer exist. They're different types of people. They live in Ukraine. They live in Russia. They live in Poland. There are different. The Slavic people have now turned into 4 or 5 countries. They no longer exist. We rise with rhythm, with genius, with flavor, with soul. We rise in every field, science, law, not just sports, art, tech, and education. We rose in Selma. We rose in Ferguson. We rise in every courtroom and every classroom around this country. We are the beauty in the beast that you see, because that is what you say we are. Because we carry grace under pressure. We carry brilliance under burden. We carry pride without permission. We are not the beast. We are the miracles in motion. So keep underestimating us. Keep painting us in the shadows. We are the beauty that built this nation. And we're the storm that's reshaping it. So when people look at Black Americans, is this what you see? Or do you see this? See, nobody wants to talk about the past as if that generational trauma can't be passed down by mother and father to their child. Nobody wants to go back and say, well, these people have been enslaved and look at them now. These people have been enslaved and look at them now. No one does that, do they not? We will have people that look like us, that come from the Caribbean, that come from the continent of Africa, that come from other parts of Europe, that look like us and come to America and turn their nose up at us and look down at us if we're the scum of the earth. And then I look at their countries and I look at where they come from. You have an entire country of black people that have been colonized and then set free. Most of the African countries that were colonized, they just gained independence in the 60s. So how long is going to take other black countries to decolonize their mind and separate themselves from way of thinking of the white supremacists who gave them their ideology? When is that going to occur in Asia? Where people think because they're lighter, colorism, where people think they're lighter, that they're smarter, that they're hardworking. They're literally repeating the same colonial white supremacist ideology towards black Americans when they come. Because you don't hear this, oh, they're so hardworking. You hear that with Hispanics. You hear that with black immigrants. But no one is taking into account the things that have occurred and the things that are still occurring today to black Americans. I'm not saying feel pity for us. I'm not saying we're making excuses for our condition. But no one is really doing the research of, wait a minute, they started here, they went here, and look at them today. Would you say we're better or worse than we was in the 60s? Unfortunately, I would say that we're just a little bit better. But our wealth is still the same. And the difference between that family is that those other groups that I named, they have received reparations. And when people stated about the Native Americans and the comparison that I make, Native Americans are still receiving reparations till this day. And those people wasn't genocide. Those people who still exist today, their ancestors was. So what's the big difference? There is none.